So, yeah, um, I was hoping somebody would show up so I can disseminate some information, which I am going to anyway. Look at my facial hair. Yeah. Uh, I can grow it out. I don't have a lot because I've done electrolysis. So, like all of this, which was covered in facial hair, like beard shadow, and most of this is gone from electrolysis and laser. But laser you have to keep on getting, and electrolysis you do have to keep on getting. But once each follicle is killed, it's killed and you don't have to redo that section. That's the difference between laser and electrolysis is that electrolysis kills the hair at the follicle. Like so it goes down to the very root in the follicle and electrocutes it. Um, Whereas laser will, burn off hair, but it is not permanent. So, as of right now, the only permanent solution to removal of hair for anybody, not just trans women or femme leaning non binary people or trans femme people in general, um, it's for anybody. I've got people that I know intimately who have gotten electrolysis, and people that I know intimately who have gotten um, laser, and I'm talking about women and
Bluetooth disconnected.
why is my Bluetooth?
Reconnected.
Yeah, I don't understand why my Bluetooth is getting disconnected and reconnected. This is not doing anything. But let me do the opening real quick. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna do some applause because I'm the only one in this party. Yay! Yay for me! Number one! Yay! Yay! So we're gonna have a gunshot. Gunshot. Yeah, I'm just playing around. I'm just playing around. No, I do have some information. I'm gonna get to it in just a minute, but nobody is in here. So I'm just gonna drop. Oh no! What happened to my camera? Oh, what really happened to my camera, y'all? Like it disappeared hardcore. There it is. Okay, let's try it again. Oh my goodness. There we go. I'm back. I'm back. So let's do the love sign. Yeah. And then we're going to do the L, B. That's the B right there. So L, B, C, C, or C, C, or C, C. So L, B, C, C. Um, So it's we're at 4 minutes 32 seconds. I don't think anybody's coming in this morning, and that's understandable. It's early ass in the morning on a fucking Monday. People have to go to work. This thankfully and not thankfully, either regrettably or thankfully, I am not working right now. I get disability, so that means I get a paycheck a month that keeps me in poverty. Thankfully, egg does work and egg does make a grip of money, and that keeps us afloat, honestly. But with our incurred debt, we do have a hard time struggling to make things meet. That is our fault because the debt we incurred is our fault. We got out of debt twice and we were like, we're never going to get back in debt again, and now we are in debt. So we have to work on getting out of it. And that's the hardest thing, when you get stuck in the loop of trying to pay off a credit card, but needing that credit card to pay a bill. So then you have to pay that credit card again. That's the loop. That's the vicious cycle. And credit card companies are predatory and they know this is how it's going to work. So that's why they offer like all of these crazy cards, because they know they're going to get someone stuck. Um, And I did not look. So instead of like square dancing and bullshit, like I'm being completely serious, instead of square dancing, they should have taught me like tax preparation. They should have taught me there. I don't think there was home ec when I was in school. They should have taught home ec. There's just so many more practical things that could have been taught other than square dancing. Um, because I haven't been able to do a do-si-do since 4th grade, 3rd grade, but I smoke it. Um, so let's well, that was kind of awkward, That still, I don't understand. That sounds like a crow to me. That does not sound like anything that would be awkward. Um, so we're gonna go on to the next one. Slapping.
Ow!
Ah! And then one, let's see, laughter. And then we're going to do one more, cheering. So with that, at 7 minutes 45 seconds, I'm going to jump into what I was actually going to talk about today. And this is not going to be long at all, because I'm going to be on later today twice. What I wanted to talk about today is that it's actually World Bipolar Day. And in the mix of National Women's Month and International Women's Day, which was earlier this month, and National Trans Day of Visibility, which is tomorrow, yeah, the 31st. Um, today kind of almost got lost in the sauce, y'all. So today is World Bipolar Day, which is important to me because I do have bipolar disorder, bipolar 1, with mixed states and psychotic features. I've got the grand old bipolar, or what used to be called manic depression. Um, so let's jump into it. It is an international day. So March the 30th is the international day for bipolar disorder, or for the World Bipolar Day. The interesting thing about uh, the date chosen, March 30th of every year, is because it was Vincent van Gogh's, or Van Gogh's, Van Gogh. I don't know how you say it, Van Gogh, Goth, Goth, Goth. Um, Either way, it was Vincent's birthday, and so posthumously um, diagnosed with probable bipolar disorder. So what they did was put the day on his birthday to raise awareness. It is also something done to eliminate social stigma, um, and educate the public. So yeah, it affects millions of people. It's not just some small disorder, or yeah, disorder. Um, so key aspects of World Bipolar Day. Yay! Purpose to bring awareness, date selection because of Vincent van Gogh. Partnership. It's organized by International Society for Bipolar Disorders, the International Bipolar Foundation, and the Asian Network of Bipolar Disorder. So we've got everybody working in conjunction to put this day together and work on awareness for people like me and my stories and the way I act and the reason I act the way I act. The theme um, of this year's day, or this year's celebration, is let's see. Oh wait, that was 2025. Hold on, no. Let's see. mm, inter international bipolar day. What's up, Robes? Um, let's see, 2026, um, International Bipolar Day 2026. Theme. That's what I needed. Theme. Um, what's up, bees? What's up? What's up? So what I am discussing today specifically, and y'all look, I got my bonnet on. This is like early morning shit. Um, like I still got raccoon eyes and shit. Good morning, everybody. But yeah, so today the reason why I'm on, and it's gonna be really short, is it's International Bipolar Day, International Bipolar Awareness Day. And so I have bipolar disorder. I have bipolar 1 with psychotic features. It is I won't say it's the classic bipolar, but when people think of manic depression, that's what it is. It's not necessarily bipolar 2, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people with bipolar 2 or that it's less of an issue. As a matter of fact, bipolar 2 can be a little bit more dangerous, given the fact that during depressive episodes, um, suicide becomes a lot more prominent. Also, with mixed episodes, which I do get as well, people are worried. And let me clarify something. I am in a mixed episode state right now, and have been for a clip now. It's been probably 2 months, maybe a month and a half. I can't seem to get out of it. And I like what I do is I question egg every once in a while. And so I asked her last night, I was like, what do you think? Am I out of this manic episode? Uh, Oh, Robes, I didn't know you were bipolar. Okay. So we share bipolar disorder and Crohn's disease. Awesome. Um, so yes, International Bipolar Day. So the theme of this year, oh, and one of the things I said, I don't know if y'all heard me in the beginning, is that bipolar, like the International Bipolar Day, was set up for March 30th of each year because it's based on Vincent van Gogh's birthday, and he was he they posthumously believed to be believed to have bipolar disorder, so they put it on his birthday. It happens every year. The theme on this year is bipolar strong, um, and yeah. So I just want to jump into some of the features that I have. And let's see. So bipolar disorder, people think swing. People think high moods and low moods, and it can be that, and it is that. I'm not saying it's not that. What I am saying, let's see, you're on the spectrum, PTSD, ADHD, agoraphobia, Crohn's, IBS. Yeah, yeah, that is so. Robes, yeah, I am ADHD, bipolar, PTSD, agoraphobia, Crohn's. I think I have some more stuff. I like the list keeps on going. Um, yeah, I figure, it's kind of funny because once you get one disorder, or like I have a host of autoimmune disorders, and or diseases, and that comes with like Crohn's disease. Seems like with Crohn's disease, you get another autoimmune disease. Um, oh, your daughter was diagnosed as bipolar, bees. Okay. Yeah, I hope that she is adjusting and coping well, and I hope that you are coping well as someone who has to, maybe watch out or take care of the person with bipolar disorder. Um, right, Robes, yeah, it's easier just to be like, "I've got bipolar disorder and Crohn's," and just leave it at that. because then to jump into all the rest of it would just be too much for people, and I have a feeling that people don't like to hear that kind of stuff. Excuse me. But So bipolar disorder, yeah. I have bipolar one, which means I experience more mania. Oh no, I froze. Okay. So I experience more mania than depression. I have had major depressive episodes, but they are few and far between nowadays. My last major depressive episode was in 2016. Um, and that lasted for 9 months. Um, Crazy things happened, like, all the same, depressive things, which, by the way, like, people feeling low for a couple days is not necessarily the same thing as, a major depressive episode, where it is a persistent, um lack of desire to do anything. Um, what ended up happening to me during my last major depressive disorder in 2016 is I lost the ability to read. So I have not read a book since then. Um, I have read a lot of stuff online, but I cannot pick up a physical book and read it anymore. Partly because of my eyes, partly because I don't know what happened. But that is the one of the saddest things for me because I used to read like 3 to 4 books a week. I have a collection of like, 500 to 600 books. I just keep on buying more and then adding to my pile and needing more bookshelves, so on and so forth. Um, but so losing the ability to read really hurt, but I can read online and that really helps. So I'm online a lot, you know. Um, let's see. Okay, Robes, you get super manic. Yeah. So do I. Yeah. I get super manic. Now, I've been hospitalized once. Um, I went to the Grippy Socks Hotel. And I don't want to do that again. So I've been careful with what I tell my psychiatrists and therapists. You know, yeah, okay, Bees, her teenage years were rough, but she's good with taking her meds now. Yeah, so, I'm good with taking my meds. What happened on this episode, excuse me, is that the Vraylar that I take, which is an antipsychotic, um, for some reason, it got pushed to the back of the medicine cabinet, and I wasn't taking it. I forgot to take it, and so then I forgot to take it for I don't even know how long. I think it was pre-surgery. So surgery was in December. So I think I've like missed taking it all the way through the end of February, which is when I started taking it again. Um, so, but it hasn't been enough to knock out this episode. And I checked in with Egg last night. I was like, "So, how am I doing? Do you think I'm out of this episode? Because I feel like, I'm coming out." And she was like, "No, not at all." And she was like, "Your speech is your rapid speech is, I can tell just by looking at you that your brain is moving faster than can your mouth can like output." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, okay." Um, Robes, no meds. Ugh. Wow. Yeah, yeah. So the side effects are fucking crazy. That is the one thing that I know okay, I shouldn't say all. Most bipolar people who are on medication hate is taking the medication. I absolutely hate it. Absolutely. It has given me like, and seriously, over the last like, I don't know, maybe 4 months, like, right before my surgery, so we'll say September, October, November through now, I have gained, like, 50, 60 pounds, and that is not from eating all the time. That is from medication, y'all. medication is a bitch. Like one day, and I used to have these beautiful long stems for legs, and then one day, like from my ankles and my feet all the way up to my knee, my legs swelled up. And so I went to the vascular surgeon, and it's called edema. And I have to wear compression stockings. And I don't know if this has to do with weight too. So many things are tied into weight, but there are so many things that are not. And the first thing doctors will say is you need to lose some weight. And yes, fair, but I don't think that's the first thing. The first thing I would say is, well, let me get off of some of this fucking medication. Like seriously, take me off of these like medications that are making me gain 20 and 30 pounds, and then let me lose the weight my way. Um, yeah, bees. No, I mean, Robes, I smoke a lot of weed, like a hell a lot of weed. Like, Um, yeah, I smoke a lot of weed. And I have to. I do just, probably like you, Rose. It is something that helps me stay as calm as possible. It helps me think clearer. It helps my Crohn's. 100% helps my Crohn's. Um, and there's a lot of people who say that with bipolar disorder, you should not smoke weed. I disagree with that 100%. Um, yeah, I am in a mixed state episode, which is called Dysphoric Mania. I have been in it for a minute. I talked to Egg last night. She said my speech was pretty pressured. My spatial recognition was still completely off. So what that means is I'm bumping into stuff all the time, um, running over this, like tripping over gates, and but she's also saying, my mood in the sense is, I am um, very moody right now. And moody meaning I can be quick to anger. But it's like a flashbang, like the anger is like, bam, and then it's gone. But in that moment, it is strong, and it's strong enough to hurt feelings. And like right afterwards, I feel so bad, but so that's like bipolar rage right there. That's something that people don't talk about. Bipolar rage, it's like anger times 10. It's like boom, like the Incredible Hulk times 10. Um, um, Hi, Jane. Thanks for coming in, Jane B and NC. Um, B's, I can't emphasize the brain working faster than the mouth. Oh, you can empathize. I have aphasia from my okay, from your second stroke. I'm not sure what aphasia is. Um, so if you can just type it out in the comments, I'll take a look, see. But yeah, the weed helps. My last manic episode was last March was when it started. Um, with all this being said, what you can tell is that I have been in the last 12 months, been basically in one episode or another. Um, so March of last year through September of last year, I was in a manic episode. Um, and now I'm in, yeah, Robes. Yeah, let's see. Because loaded dad gets all mad. Then 10 minutes later, he's making eggs and bacon. Yes, exactly, exactly. And it happens so fast, and it's so strong and so severe that people like become shocked, and people are worried, and because it's so out of character for myself, people describe me, and I've heard this more than once. Like Egg said it, and now I've heard like 4 or 5 other people say it. But they describe me as effervescent. So um, I guess I kind of light up the room when I come in, and I try and make things positive, if I can. And I do have a smile on my face a lot, but that is, whatever. I don't care about that. What I'm trying to talk about is my manic episodes. That's probably part of it. But what happens when a manic episode just gets too manic is that it becomes scary. You can ride your mania for a while. The mania is great to get work done, write a book, write some poems, write some literary stuff, write anything. It's great for whatever you're doing, studying, anything, anything, anything. The problem becomes when you let mania exist too long, and then it becomes psychotic. And then you have delusions or psychotic features. Hallucinations, hearing auditory, which I do have auditory hallucinations, or also seeing things, which I do not have. Um, but delusions, of course, I do have. I think that anybody who has mixed episodes has, or anybody who has bipolar one, for the most part. And once again, I have to say for the most part because it is not. I do not have the stats on it, so I'm just assuming. And I am not a psychiatrist or a therapist or anyone who holds any fucking degree. So, but I would assume that if you have bipolar one and you've had more than one or two episodes, then you're going to start developing psychotic and psychotic features. Um, you just don't know how to stay mad, Robes. Yeah, I try that. Like I get mad and it goes away within like I don't know, like I'll be mad and pissy for at the longest a couple of hours, and it definitely starts fading. Like the real rage is really fast. But it does enough damage to hurt people. And so that's upsetting. Um, let's see what else I got in the comments. Aphasia is struggling with language, words get stuck. And okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, it does because it's kind of like pressured speech then, where or like my brain right now is moving so fast that I'm having to try and physically slow down. Like my brain is like moving. Everything is firing, but my all my tabs are open. Let me put it to you like that. So I'm having to pick and choose and slow down mentally and physically. Like I'm saying to myself, slow down inside my mind. So, and here's another thing. Do y'all have an internal dialogue or monologue? Because I found out recently that there are people who just do not have internal dialogues and monologues. And what I mean by this is I have a constant conversation going on in my head. And I also found out that there are people who, when reading books, don't read in their head. They just read, you know, like silently. And that is strange to me too, because I'm reading that shit in my head, like in different voices, for the different characters. So I don't know, like, these all these things are just, strange to me. Anyway, so yeah, in an episode, um, the it's dysphoric mania. So I do have the features of the mania, and also the features of the sadness, meaning I am quick to tears and easy to tears. I can cry at the drop of the hat. I have this issue with if people say things that I perceive as negative to me, tend to get upset, and wondering what I did wrong, so on and so forth. Oh, no. Oh, snap. Where did my camera go? Did we do it again? Did we do it again? Y'all. My camera, this is a brand new camera. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's do this. Come back in. There I am. Okay. So I'm trying to work this camera out. So I'm a big believer that we do not punish with our anger. We are punished by our anger. That is true. That is true. But I can see both sides, Robes, and the reason why is because there is someone on the other side, and that fuck. Where did my camera go? That person is affected by it, and that is something that we can't unfortunately take back. And so um, when that happens, I have to remember that unfortunately it is something that I did, and I made her angry. And I'm speaking specifically for Egg because she's the one who gets the most of it. Um, so the anger does hurt other people. But yeah, I have to remember for myself that anger is not necessarily bad. Um, it is, but as long as it's directed correctly. I am not a physical angry person. I don't throw things. I don't hit people. I don't do things like that. But my tongue is sharp. And whoa, there we go. Hold on.